Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session. My name is Megan, and I'm the facilitator for today. I'm joined by a lovely group of panelists from the St. Louis University, or SLU, and I have some housekeeping items before you get started. The session is being recorded today, so if you're taking notes, writing down contact information, know that you will have access to that about a week after today. The session's recording will be posted on the IACAC website, so it will be available for you. While you can hear and see us, we cannot hear and see you. So therefore, you will be able to ask any questions that you want through the Q&A, which is located at the bottom of your screen as an attendee. So please feel free to ask any questions. Our panelists will be answering them as we go, but please ask any questions. So Anna, I will pass it off over to you to get us started.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Shu. I am one of our admission counselors based up in the Chicago area. So I work with a lot of our students in the Chicago area. Very excited to be here and going to pass it over to Stephanie to introduce herself.
Great, thanks. I'm Stephanie Sapansky. I'm one of the assistant directors here at St. Louis University, and I have been here for 12 years, and I work with students in the Chicago area as well. So welcome.
And hi, my name is Richard Brown. I also work with students in the Chicago area, but I have not been here 12 years. This is actually my first year, so really excited to get to know everybody.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alyssa Wedding. I am a senior admission counselor in our Office of Admission. I've been at SLU a little over 7 years now, and I graduated from SLU in 2012, and I work with students from Central and Southern Illinois. Welcome. Okay, awesome. Well, I will kick it off. As I said, my name is Alyssa, one of the senior admission counselors. And as you may have noticed, for the majority, a lot of us are still working remotely. So I am in my home right now, and I apologize if my dogs go crazy or nuts. They're sleeping right now, but they do like to get their 7 p.m. zoomies. So hopefully they will be quiet for us. All right, so if we want to go ahead and switch the slide. Awesome. So St. Louis University is a medium-sized school. We have around 8,000 undergrad students, and then our total enrollment is right above 12,000 at 12,500. So that includes all of our PhD, master's level, law school, med school, and even our School for Professional Studies, which is an all-online program. We do have 2 campuses, one in St. Louis, Missouri, so the heart of the Midwest, and then we do have one in Madrid, Spain, that you can study at as study abroad or attend there for all 4 years. We are founded in 1818, so we're the first university west of the Mississippi, and then the second oldest Jesuit institution, which leads me to my next point that we do have a religious affiliation, and we are a Catholic Jesuit school. The Catholic Jesuit priests are the largest order of Catholic priests, and they have a love of education and service. So at SLU, we truly believe in educating the student as a whole person, so through their mind, body, heart, and spirit. We are not only concerned about what you will become, so what career path you'll choose, but who you'll become as well. One way that we show that we are committed to our Jesuit mission of social justice and global service is that between the staff, students, and faculty last year, over 1.98 million hours of service work was done. So that is through the St. Louis area, nationally, as well as internationally. And then one of the biggest questions that I get asked when I'm out recruiting students is, what is a Billiken? Because he is so unique, and you may have never seen him before. They think that he's a troll or a warlock, a dragon, even a winged pig. And as just by looking at him, people don't know what he is. He is completely unique to SLU, and he's not the typical lion, tiger, or bear that you may have at other schools. A Billiken is a good luck charm. So he dates back until 1908. So he's pretty old. He was a fad of the times in the early 1900s. So he was on belt buckles, on tradable cards, and posters. So he was really, really popular. He became our mascot because some sports journalists in the city of St. Louis discovered that the Billiken resembled our football coach. And so they started to refer to the team as Bender's Billikens, and he became our mascot in 1911. So we're pretty proud to have him. Another great thing about having a unique mascot is that we can truly connect him to the types of students that we have on our campus. So they're coming from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds with their own stories, and they're coming to SLU to congregate and truly live out being a Billiken, and again, truly be a Billiken on SLU's campus. St. Louis University, so again, along with that medium-sized school, we have an average class size of 26. So pretty small classes. A lot of your courses may not have more than 40 students in there. We don't have the typical like 500 or 700 person lecture halls. They usually max out around 150. When I was a current student, some of my classes had less than 10 students in there. I was from the School of Education, and one of my classes had 4 of us. So it's really easy to get to know the other students that are within your program, within those classes, to form those relationships. And then 99% of our faculty and staff have the highest degrees in their field. So you're making friends with people in your major, and then you're getting to know your professors on a first name basis, and they are to you as well. And they're also very knowledgeable and passionate about what they're teaching you, which is so important. We have 18 Division I sports teams on campus. We're the only Division I school in the St. Louis, Missouri area. And that GPA on that side is our average incoming class GPA. So it's around a 3.91. And then over 150 clubs and student organizations. So our students coming from high school, they love being involved and they want to stay involved in college. And then different areas of study. So we have over 90 undergraduate programs to choose from. And if you don't know what you want to do yet and you're still exploring, that is totally okay. You're 16, 17, you don't need to know what you want to do with the rest of your life. But St. Louis University has a lot of different options, anything from our School of Nursing to anything in to health sciences, Parks College of Engineering, Aviation, and Technology, College of Arts and Sciences for more of that liberal arts feel. So a lot of different options. And then a lot of our students are, double majoring, or they're getting a minor in something that they are really passionate about, and they just want to take some courses in to get that minor. St. Louis University is also a direct admit school. So when you're applying to SLU, you can apply directly to the program of study that you're interested in and start some of those classes right away your first year on campus.
All right, so now I get the opportunity to speak about our beautiful campus. So right here is actually St. Louis, if you didn't know, is located downtown, or St. Louis University is located right downtown St. Louis. So we're not downtown adjacent, we're not in a suburb, because what you see right here is Grand Boulevard. That's the only street that runs right through our campus. And it's a street that you'll probably have to cross every single day being here, downtown St. Louis. And then right on the right, as you can see, is the Bush Student Center, where you're going to find a lot of study spaces and a lot of the food that we do have on campus. Okay, the next slide. Thank you so much. So to give you a little bit more context of exactly where SLU is in St. Louis, we're located at Midtown St. Louis, which is a theater arts district. Our Health and Science and Medical Center, home of SLU's medical school, is located just a mile down the road. And actually, SLU just opened a brand new hospital that is twice the size of the one that we used to have, and that's also located right on the South Campus. We also do have a second campus in Madrid, Spain, as Alyssa has spoken about before, and you can actually attend that campus for all 4 years, like you would a traditional university, or you can choose to spend just 2 years there and then transfer back to the St. Louis campus, or you can treat it as a traditional study abroad campus. Speaking of study abroad, in addition to our own campus, we have approximately 45 SLU-approved study abroad programs. These programs allow our students to study in many different countries with the same benefits as our Madrid campus. And what is living on campus like? Well, we require all first and second year students who live outside of a 25-mile radius to live on campus for the first 2 years. And then students within the radius can choose to live on campus or at home with their parents. You will find that your residence hall preference usually will be defined by the bathroom style you prefer. So we have the suite style, which is where multiple rooms share a bathroom, Jack and Jill style, which is where 2 rooms are connected by a bathroom, or my personal favorite, the community style, which is where all the rooms on the floor share 1 bathroom, but you don't have to clean it. And so I think that's a big perk. Now, speaking about what there is to do on campus, we've already talked about that we're a D1 school, but what if you're not, like myself, a D1 athlete? Well, luckily for you, we still do have some opportunities for you to get involved in athletics. So we have 30 club sports and 50 intramural sports, over 150 student organizations, like we've said, and that ranges from all areas of interest. Those are student-led and student-created, so those are really fantastic ways for you to find some like-minded individuals. We also have 7 fraternities and 7 sororities, along with 10 multicultural fraternities. So this is about 20% of our students are involved in Greek life of some sort, but I'm going to let the student panel after this presentation kind of speak to those the student involvements that they are a part of. Now, it would be difficult for us to speak to students this year without having to mention COVID. Now, as a Jesuit university, part of our mission is Cura Personalis, which means care for the whole person. And Cura Personalis is the driving concept for our community during the fall 2020 semester. So to keep our campus safe, everyone is required to wear masks while on campus. In-person events larger than 10 have been canceled, and students have the option to be completely online for the semester. These are just a few ways that we're working to keep our students healthy while also still providing that quality education that we're known for. And not only are we working to keep our campus community safe, our faculty researchers, along with some of our student researchers, are exploring ways to extend Cura Personalis outside the SLU community. Our researchers are working hard on vaccine trials and how to identify and track the outbreaks, and developing guidelines for those infection prevention.
Fantastic. So I'm going to talk about how you actually apply and become a Billiken. So there are 2 ways to apply to St. Louis University. Either way does not matter. We just would love to see you apply. You can apply via the Common App or SLU application. You will fill out whichever essay that you prefer on those applications. So either the SLU essay or the Common App essay. In addition, you will go ahead and submit your official transcript. We are officially test optional for admission, scholarship, and all of our honors and scholars programs for 2021, as well as for the next 2 years after that. So it is a 3-year trial. So the next parts of these will just depend on what type of student you are. If you are an international student, we of course still do require your English proficiency. You can submit any of the exams on there, including Duolingo. So number 4 on here are our recommended information. So if you're applying test optional, you really just need to submit your application, essay, and transcript, and you're complete. We would recommend that you absolutely submit your resume, particularly if you're applying for any of our highly selective programs like physical therapy, occupational therapy, or nursing. We do encourage you to submit a letter of recommendation. If you're going to apply for any of the honors or scholar programs that I'm about to talk about, we certainly encourage you to apply to submit letters of recommendation. If you do upon admission, they can count towards any of those other honors and scholar programs. Last but not least is our admission interview. This is an informational interview where we get the opportunity to learn more about you and for you to learn more about SLU. We are actually having 3 different days in the Chicago area, of course virtually, but they are open to all of the Chicago students, actually all the students in Illinois, to take part in this interview process. And so you will receive an invite, and we would encourage you to sign up. It is a great opportunity to get to know us. Now, number 5 on here, of course, is our ACT and SAT scores. If you have had the opportunity to take the test score and you feel that it is representative of your academic ability, you absolutely can go ahead and submit it with an admission. When you apply, you just let us know if you would like to use your test scores or not, and that will direct us on how you would like us to proceed with the process. All right, so let's go on to our December 1st deadline. So December 1st is a big deadline in our office. We require physical therapy, occupational therapy, nursing, and flight science all have a very strict December 1st deadline. So on December 2nd, they are no longer on that application. So if you are at all contemplating any of those majors, please make sure you apply soon, and definitely before December 1st. Our medical scholars, honors program, presidential scholars, physician assistant scholars, and pharmacy scholars programs all have a very strict December 1st deadline. So again, please make sure you apply before then and not a day after, because they will be gone. All right, so as I was saying, your application for admission is your application for scholarship. So you are automatically considered, ranging from about $8,000 to $23,000 per year. You will find that out automatically upon admission. And again, this is completely test optional. So if you do not submit a test score, you will be considered for the same merit-based scholarships. Now, we have 2 different scholarships you can apply for. And what I will tell you is if you qualify for either of these, or both of these, you should absolutely apply for them. They will be available in our SLU application portal. So regardless of the way that you apply, everyone will have a SLU application portal. So you want to make sure that you do apply. The Presidential Scholarship is our premier leadership scholarship that has a separate application that's due by December 1, requires a 3.85 GPA, and just for you to be an outstanding leader. So you'll go ahead and submit that. And traditionally, I would tell you that you would come to campus to interview, but we are working on plans to let you know what that process will look like if you are selected. We don't have that worked out just yet, but we're working on it. The next one is the Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship. That is our premier leadership scholarship that is geared towards students that are leaders in promoting diversity and social justice. So if you are a student that promotes social activism, social justice, all of those things, we would love to see you apply for this. That requires the 3.25 GPA. The amount really depends on your original scholarship. So if you have this $8,000 scholarship and you get the Martin Luther King Jr. scholarship, your new scholarship amount goes up to $13,000. If you have the $23,000 scholarship and you get the Martin Luther King Jr. scholarship, your new scholarship amount actually goes up by $3,000. So that is actually how that works. And that is due by February 1st. So please make sure you apply. You can't interview for both, but hopefully you'll be selected for one. All right, so now this is a really important slide that we always get a ton of questions on. First and foremost is the honors program. The honors program is open to every single major. It doesn't matter if you're engineering or physical therapy or nursing, all majors are open to apply for the honors program. All of these programs, as I mentioned before, are completely test optional this year. So we would strongly encourage you to apply for them if you meet those grade requirements. The honors program is more of a seminar style program. It's not just like taking harder courses in high school. So they have specific courses that they'll take for honors, but they're more seminar style, more discussion based. So typically they might only have like 8 to 10 students in that. If you do research, internship, all of that goes towards honors. They also have an honors learning community, as well as they get to register for classes early. The next one on here that is always really popular is the Medical Scholars Program. As you can see, they don't actually give you GPA. That is because they are looking for straight A's, particularly in math and science, in the hardest courses that your school offers. So that is typically AP or IB. And so with the Medical Scholars Program, what happens is you get to apply early to SLU, or you apply early to SLU, and then in your sophomore year, you actually get a guaranteed interview with our medical school. From that interview, you will find out if you get admitted or if you're deferred for traditional admission. So it's not a guaranteed admission, but it's a guaranteed interview to go through that process. So it's a fantastic program. All pre-med students here at SLU have the opportunity to do the COVE internship, which is a medical internship with our medical faculty. As both Alyssa and Richard had mentioned, we have our own hospital, a Trauma One hospital on our campus. And so there's opportunities there that you might not have at other schools. So the next one is our Physician Assistant Scholars Program. That is direct entry into our PA program. The Pharmacy Scholars Program is actually a guaranteed interview with the school formerly known as St. Louis College of Pharmacy. So I believe it is now University of Missouri Health Sciences. And so that is a guaranteed program with that. So if you know you're thinking about pharmacy, that's a great program to apply for. Now on February 1st deadlines over here, Communication and Science Disorders is a direct entry into our master level program for communication and science disorders. The Law Scholars Program is a direct entry into our law school. What's really neat about that is you still have the opportunity to apply to other law schools while maintaining your seat in our law school. So now down at the bottom, you have 2 programs that are what we call invite only. So the first one is our Business and Accounting Scholars, or a Business Scholars Program. The Business Scholars Program is a 3-year accelerated business degree, requires a 3.75 GPA. The Accounting Scholars Program is a 5-year Master's of Science in Accountancy. And so with those programs, you don't actually have to apply yourself. If you're selected, you'll be invited, and then you can let them know yes or no with that. Perfect. And so here are some important dates. So we covered some of them already, but October 1st is when the free application for federal student aid became available. Now here at St. Louis University, your admission counselor is also your financial aid counselor. So we work with you throughout the whole process. November 1st is one of my favorite days in the office because that is when we start to tell everyone that they are Billikens. And that is quickly approaching. So we're super excited in our office. Now, December 1st is our scholarship priority deadline, right? So that is also the application deadline for physical therapy, occupational therapy, nursing, and flight science. If you remember nothing else, I hope you remember that those 4 majors you absolutely have to apply for by December 1st. Now, outside of that is the Presidential Scholarship as well as Honor Scholars. And then February 1st is the next big date in our office. So that is the free application for federal student aid preferred deadline. It is the law scholars, communication and science disorder scholars, and the Martin Luther King Jr. scholarship deadline. That is also if you've applied for physical therapy, occupational therapy, or nursing, that's actually when you find out that you're admitted to the university, as well as the status of your admission to that program. Now in early March is when you'll actually find out if you're in any of the honors or scholar programs that you applied to. And then May 1st is when you let us know that you want to become a Billiken. That's the national decision deadline date. All right, perfect.
Okay, and finally, just talking about doing some more visiting of SLU. So this is a great overview presentation. We are going to offer you a lot of more opportunities to go deep dive into the various aspects of SLU on our visit websites. You'll see in the bottom right corner of the screen, slu.edu/visit. That is where you can sign up for things like virtual tours. You can actually take a virtual tour where a student is live guiding you through that. So you kind of are getting a combo of a in-person tour and a virtual tour. We do have a few limited on-campus tour options right now. They are very small groups, one family per group, all outdoor tours. All that information is on our website as well. And then additionally, we have some really great program-specific sessions. So for example, if you're interested in physical therapy or pre-health studies or nursing or engineering, you can go and hear directly from those programs all of the information on them specifically. So it's a really great way to kind of learn more about what your specific interests are after hearing kind of this general informational. So definitely encourage you to head on over to slu.edu/visit, sign up for some more information. And luckily today, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen because we are going to move into our student panel section of the visit tonight. So please feel free to use the Q&A feature to ask our students or our staff questions about SLU. No question is too small. So we will be answering those live. I'm going to go ahead and have our students unmute themselves and introduce themselves. And if you could all let everyone know your name, where you're from, what you're studying at SLU, and some of the things that you're involved in on campus.
I can go first. Hi, everyone. My name's Lydia. I'm a junior here at SLU. I'm studying health management and policy with minors in public health and finance. I'm originally from Madison, Wisconsin. Some of the things I'm involved in our campus radio station. I'm involved in first year experience, the honors program, and a feminist group on campus.
Hi, my name is Megan. I'm a senior here at SLU. I'm studying neuroscience on the pre-medical track. I'm originally from Peoria, Illinois, which is about halfway between St. Louis and Chicago. A couple things that I'm involved in. I'm also involved in the honors program. I lived in the honors learning community. I volunteer at that new SLU hospital, and I'm involved in a couple other service groups on campus.
Hello. My name is Antonio. I use he, him pronouns. I am a sophomore studying health science on the pre-med track with minors in healthcare ethics and biology. My family is currently living in Fairfax, Virginia, and on campus, I'm involved in almost everything under the sun. First year experience, SLU running club, the Wilderness Adventure Club, Doctors Without Borders, and a bunch of service organizations out and around campus.
That's fantastic. So our first question is just about housing. So if you could talk a bit about your experience in freshman housing, kind of acclimating, what did SLU do to make you feel comfortable on campus, and what was your housing experience like?
I can start off with this since I just went through all of this last year. So Griesbach Complex is the main residence hall that freshmen end up being in. It is community style living. I understand that may be a little bit of a turnoff for some people, but I recommend that you give it a chance. It is not as bad as it seems originally. I know as time went on, me and all of my friends, we'd formed a school intramural soccer team on our floor, right? So after a game, we would all go into the showers, bring a speaker into the showers, bump some music, and had a good old shower party. As far as helping you adjust, all the resident advisors, or as we call them, RAs, in Griesbach Hall specifically, are super good about bringing all the freshmen into the community. The SLU community is truly special, and the resident advisors understand that it may be harder for some students to get acclimated to that community super fast. So they host a lot of events with their floors, with other floors in the residence hall to help bring everyone into the community.
I can speak to a little bit different style of living because Griesdeck is definitely a great option, but I lived in Spring Hall my freshman year. So those are more suite style rooms. So my suite had a total of 4 girls in it, and then we shared 2 kind of half bathrooms. And it was great. Like Antonio said, the resident advisors are super helpful to kind of organize some fun events. You know, we would go apple picking or ice skating as a floor, just to kind of, you know, get those friendships forming and make sure that everybody's kind of, you know, in it together. So yeah, they were a huge help.
Just to add, I also lived in Griesdeck Hall my freshman year, and I would definitely recommend it. A lot of my very best friends to this day have come out of my floor from freshman living in Griesdeck, so I would also recommend.
Great. We had a question come in asking about different mental health resources available on campus. So I don't know if any of our students want to speak to that. I'm also happy to answer that if you're not so familiar.
I can talk on it for a little bit. So the main resource that I can think of right now is our University Counseling Center. So every academic year, you're given 10 included sessions with your tuition. So it's kind of just like a therapy appointment for like an hour. Those are really nice to have just access to, if anyone else has any resources.
I know we have a couple really great clubs on campus if you're looking for more of like an advocating kind of venue as well. I'm involved in a club that's called Active Minds, and the whole goal of the club is to destigmatize mental illness and mental health on college campuses. So I know we put on a ton of events that's kind of, you know, aimed at helping the entire campus with mental health and making that a priority.
I also want to recommend the Dean of Students Office. They're absolutely wonderful in helping you if you're going through a mental health crisis. They can reach out to your professors and reach out to other places on campus to help you through that process as you're going through it.
That's great. Thank you guys so much. Another question just about the religious culture on campus. So how much is religion a part of SLU's culture? And is it easy to fit in on campus if you are not a religious student?
For me, I'd say it's a decent part of the culture. Just I'm saying that because theology. There's a couple required theology courses for you. But personally, I'm not religious, and I don't feel like excluded or like less than being not religious on campus.
What I've kind of seen, just from my experience, is that we really emphasize the aspects of our Jesuit mission more than, you know, pushing Catholic theology on people. We really like to push those aspects of social justice and service, especially, which I think is a great way to do it. Is really, you know, make sure that we're in line with those values that can be applicable whether you're religious or not. And so that's what I think SLU does a really great job of. And if you want to make religion more of a part of your experience, there are definitely, you know, opportunities for that. Our campus ministry is great. We have a bunch of different faith-based groups. If you'd want to do like a Bible study or, you know, anything like that. So it's kind of, you know, the level that you want of that.
That's great. Thank you guys. Could you talk a bit about how you got involved on campus? So how did you actually find organizations and find ways to get involved?
I'll start off on this one because I love student involvement. I'm involved in so many different things. For me, the easiest way for me to get involved was at the beginning of the year, sometime during Fall Welcome or just a little bit after, we have a club fair. Depending on what next year looks like, this could either be virtual or in person. When I came in my freshman year, it was in person. So we had tables of all the different student organizations lined up down West Pine. I believe there's like 176 of them. But you can go talk to different representatives from each organization, sign up for an email list here and there. And as the school year goes on, you'll get invited to different meetings and so forth. So you can sign up for all the different organizations you're even remotely interested in. I think of the 176 organizations, I put down my name for about 100 of them. I am not involved in all 100 now, though. I've slimmed it down to 15, which is still a lot. That's not the norm for those SLU students, who do not worry about that at all. Another thing I want to note is that if you are involved in a lot, it is super easy to balance your time with all of that. A lot of the organizations understand that you are a person first and you are involved in a lot of other things around and on campus. So they understand if you have to miss a meeting here or there to balance your time with classes and social work and all of that kind of fun stuff.
That's a great answer. Do either of you have anything to add, or you think you kind of covered it?
I mean, I would just add, especially now during virtual times, I'm on e-board for a club that I'm in, and we were able to recruit and retain a lot of members this year, just because all the SLU fair was completely virtual. Students could just pop in, give us their email, like find out what we're all about, and it was like easy for them to get connected that way. So it's not isolating as it may seem.
That's a great perspective, Lydia. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so next question is just about like hands-on experiences. So whether it's research or internships, what sorts of things does SLU offer to students? And what have your experiences been in hands-on learning at SLU?
One opportunity that I've had through SLU has been shadowing. So if you're interested in any type of, health type related thing, shadowing is very important. And through our pre-health office, I got matched with a couple doctors in the area. So I really didn't have to do any of the hard work of reaching out and finding people. They kind of just did that for me and said, here are a couple doctors you can go shadow. And that was, really helpful for me to decide if I wanted to try and continue on to medical school or not. So I was very grateful for those opportunities.
Another thing on a similar track is, I think, especially in those big biology and chemistry classes, we offer a lab component to that to actually implement what you're learning into a real life setting. We just built the new interdisciplinary sciences and engineering building. It is absolutely gorgeous. I have organic chem lab in there right now. The facilities are brand new, super great, super fun.
Great. So this is a question close to my heart. What about food? Food on campus, food around campus. What is that like at SLU?
Start off for this one. So your first year, you'll be on a meal plan where you have unlimited swipes. So basically every time you go into the dining hall, you use a swipe, but it's like no extra cost for you because you have unlimited ones. And then you have about $150, I think it is, to spend money around campus at restaurants, whether that be Panera, Starbucks, Qdoba, whatever it may be. I think my favorite spot on campus to eat is in a business school cafe. I kind of call it Subway on steroids just because I think it's a lot better and they make it for you and toast it and they have a lot of good sauces. Off campus, I think Salt and Smoke, which is a barbecue place. It's really good.
Adding on to that real quick, I am a 19-year-old boy and I'm a runner, so I have to eat a lot and I love food. You can't go wrong with any of the places on campus. There's a big debate. Lydia just said her favorite food was the Ameren Cafe in the business school. I don't know if you saw me cringe a little bit at that because my personal favorite space to eat is Fresh Gatherings over on our Southern Medical campus. It's run by the nutrition and dietetic students. They make fresh food every single day. Today they serve grilled cheeses and tomato soup. Friday they're serving smash burgers. Highly, highly, highly recommend. I could advocate for that all day, every day.
St. Louis itself, I think, is a very much a foodie city. So if you've ever been or know kind of the area, it's divided into these different neighborhoods. And I think the divisions are really based on the food scene. That's what I go to them for anyway. So we have the Hill, which is all Italian places. We have the Central West End. That's one of my favorites. That's where Salt and Smoke is that Lydia was talking about. Mission Taco is down there. There's a pizza place. We have the Loop that has all kinds of great stuff. So that's one of my favorite things to do, is just go explore new restaurants.
That's great. And we had a question just come through about the Madrid campus and just kind of wondering what the experience is like in Madrid, if classes are done in Spanish or English, and if the educational philosophy is similar to SLU. Did any of you guys have a chance to study abroad in Madrid? No? Okay, so let me speak to that a little bit. So St. Louis University's Madrid campus does share a similar education philosophy. It is a SLU campus, so it is SLU Madrid. It is truly a SLU school. It's a Jesuit institution, so still carrying that same philosophy of education. They still have their students get connected with the community. There's lots of great service opportunities. We even have had students do internships. Some students have even done like clinical rotations in Madrid, or like volunteering at hospitals and things like that. So very similar experience in terms of the academic philosophy. The classes are going to be in English for students for the most part, so you do not have to go and take classes in Spanish. It's understood that, you know, you're going to study abroad, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a great experience for students, very similar to our St. Louis campus. So our next question, just thinking back to your senior year, junior of high school, when you're looking at colleges and trying to figure out where you wanted to go, what was it that stood out about SLU to you that kind of cemented that decision?
I can go first. So I think we'll all kind of say a similar thing to start, but at SLU, I just felt like it was my second home, like immediately. And I felt like there was a really big sense of community that just like came across in everything the tour guide was saying, everything my admission counselor was saying, what I could see, what was going on campus. That just like really sold it for me. Also, SLU was a really good size for me, about like 8,000 undergrads. It wasn't too small or too big. And then they also had a really good program for my major too, which helps.
Yeah, I think Lydia nailed it. We're all going to say something very similar for this question, which I think really shows how true it is. The community feel on SLU's campus is just unlike anywhere else I had been. Everyone is very welcoming and friendly and collaborative. I also loved the location of SLU. I knew I wanted to be in a bigger city while still having kind of the campus feel. And I loved SLU for that. When you're standing in the middle of campus, you just see all this green and trees and flowers and hammocks everywhere. So you still get the feeling that you're on a college campus, and then you walk one block over and you say, oh my gosh, you know, there's this whole city that I have to explore. So that was also a kind of a sealing the deal factor for me.
Lydia and Megan both hit it on the head. The community at SLU is something special. I remember when I was going through the whole college application process, I was kind of just applying to colleges willy-nilly across the country. I had no idea what the heck I was doing. And then I was lucky enough to meet Mark Notham, who's one of the admissions counselors. I went to a college fair, got to talk with him, amazing guy. And when I came to visit SLU in the spring that year, he actually remembered me, and we had a great conversation about how senior year was going, how the application process was going, and things like that. So also lucky enough to interview for the to presidential scholarship. Unfortunately, did not get it. But I remember at that interview, I got stuck on a bus with two just graduated admissions student ambassadors. Megan, Lydia, you might remember them, Maya Delcamiller and Kat Martinez, stuck in a bus with just them and my dad for 2 hours because of the snow. And while I was there, they had the chance to talk to me about all the different things that I was planning on getting involved in at whatever college I was going to be going to. So first year experience, working here in the Office of Admission and things like that. And the one phrase they kept repeating was, Antonio, when you come to SLU, I'm going to see you be doing this. When you come to SLU, when you come to SLU, when you come to SLU. And that conversation on that bus kept bouncing around in my head. So May 1st, deadline day, I submitted my deposit for SLU just because of that bus conversation with Maya and Kat.
That's awesome. Could you guys tell us a bit about what you do for fun on the weekends?
So my favorite place in St. Louis has to be Forest Park. It's this big urban park, very similar to Central Park in New York, but Forest Park is actually bigger. So it's got all of these like walking paths and jogging and biking areas. So you can go do all that. And then we also have the free zoo and the free art museum, history museum, science center. Everything in there is free, which I also love. That's a nice little perk. But there's always stuff going on over there. So that's where I spend most of my weekends.
I think some of my favorite things are probably Forest Park too. Just exploring different restaurants. When we could have sporting events, I would always go to like a soccer game or a basketball game with some of my friends on the weekend because those are free for SLU students to go to and they're always super fun. So those are some of my favorite things.
Talking about those games Lily was talking about, you can get a lot of free swag from them too. Like this Apple Watch right here, I won it in a raffle for completely free at one of the basketball games. So if that is not the reason to go, I have no idea what the heck is. You're honestly never going to be bored here, even if you're not a fan of going off campus and exploring the city. There is tons of things to do on campus. Different clubs and organizations are holding events all the time, and you're more than welcome to show up at any one of them at any time.
That's great. You guys have had some really great answers tonight. And I do just want to wrap us up with one final piece of advice you would give our students as they're going through the application process and searching for colleges. What would you advise for students that you've learned from your experiences?
I'd say the biggest thing for me personally is don't be afraid to ask questions. It's a confusing time and it is totally understandable that you might not have any idea what you're doing. I mentioned before that I was applying to colleges willy-nilly all over the place. I just moved back from living overseas my freshman and sophomore year of high school, and junior year is when the college process really picks up. So me being me was like, okay, you know what? I do not want to live on a college that does not have like a beach or water somewhere nearby. And look where I am now. I'm here in the middle of the Midwest. So ask any questions you may have. A lot of different colleges are offering opportunities, especially in this pandemic, to meet with various students and talk about the student life of things. Obviously, they're not going to be as lovely as Lydia and Megan, but no matter what college it is, I do recommend trying to reach out and form those relationships with those students.
I'd say for me, a big piece of advice is do what feels natural to you. Coming to SLU felt natural and it felt like it kind of followed, like I followed my gut with it. I was really between a big state school from where I'm from and here. And, you know, I'm like still like a huge fan of that school and like live and die like those sports. But SLU just like felt like home and it felt natural and I felt like I would do really well and get a really good education. So I just say, do what feels right and it feels natural to you.
This may be easier said than done, but remember to try to have fun with it. I know it's a stressful time, but it should be exciting. You get to pick, you know, where you're going to spend the next 4 years of your life. So just as much as you can, try to make it a fun process too.
That's awesome. Thank you to our panelists. We really appreciate your participation. And thank you to our attendees for coming tonight. Make sure to remember to go to that slu.edu/visit site to sign up for more programs if you're interested in learning more about SLU.
Great. Thank you all so much for all of your great information. So again, for you attendees, the session was being recorded. So if you missed anything, don't worry, you will have access to the recording just about a week after today on the IACAC website. So just where you registered as well for the session. But have a good rest of your evening, everyone.